I'm Kara, and welcome to Soul Inspiring Business. I believe that all of us possess unique gifts and talents that allow us to serve the world and our own growth in the highest possible way. Our lives are an expression of our thoughts, beliefs, and actions. And here, we will explore businesses, thought leaders, and topics designed to inspire, helping propel your own growth so you can live your best and most purposeful life. Welcome to Soul Inspiring Business. Welcome back to the Soul Inspiring Business podcast. Now that we're going into fourth quarter, this is a time for a lot of business owners where we start to think about, what went well this year? What do we want to shift into for next year? It's really kind of the planning season for the growth and expansion that we're looking for and looking towards in 2024. And so there's a lot of conferences that take place around this time. And again, it's just a time of reflection to look at what went well and what do we need to be doing differently. And I just got back from the Soul Inspiring Business Retreat held by my business coach, Jen Cudmore. It was in Colorado. It was an amazing time. And I wrote down some of my 4 top takeaways that I thought were important for us to reflect on as we take this time and space to create our vision for 2024. And sometimes it's not just a retreat that's needed, but a reminder of these things that are working in our daily lives where, yes, it's always great to have a retreat and a time to get away, but how can we really take some of these lessons and implement them into our lives on a daily basis and not need necessarily this big retreat to reset? So the 4 main things I'm going to mention, the first of which, and you've heard me talk about this before, it's really a big mantra of the podcast, but it's that energy is everything. So in particular, in this retreat that I was just on, really it was a blend of business, of strategy, of dreaming into bigger vision, but also some energy work was part of that too, because I do believe that energy is everything. And we can make all the best plans. And I was just talking to a friend of mine, and he was talking about his team and how he was helping them with calls and the daily activities that they're doing to generate business. And the thought, and we started talking about how energy is everything, right? And how do you train your team on that very concept? Because you can be calling for new business, right? But if your energy is such and the intentionality behind the calling is not in the right frame, then I believe those activities are not going to be half as productive as when your team members are showing up in the right energy and the right mindset. And from that place, the activities that you're doing are going to be so much more powerful and so much more impactful. And I'm sure that you've felt that even when you receive a phone call from somebody. You can tell when somebody's energy is that, where they are there to serve, there to help, and somebody that's just doing the thing, doing the activities with not the energy and intentionality behind it. So really, if we know that energy is everything, what are we doing to maintain that? What are we doing on a daily basis to ensure that we're showing up in the most positive frame of mind so that anything that we do has a maximum impact? So if you're going to do something, then how can we make it have the most impact possible? So what is it that you're doing to show up for in not only just business, but life, where we're creating momentum and the energy that we're bringing to every situation is in the highest possible state, right? And so in particular, on this particular retreat, we were doing walks in the morning and listening to mindset type manifesting walks, right? Like getting into motion in the morning and really dreaming in, visualizing in what it is we're wanting to create. That can be such a powerful exercise. But, really, again, what are you doing? How are you showing up every day, knowing that energy is everything? And how can we create momentum and the highest possible impact, the highest possible outcome in every moment that we show up, in every activity that we show up to, whether that's our relationship, whether that's our business, right? So that's number one. Energy is everything. How can we continually show up in the right energetic state? And what activities are you doing to create that? Number two, it's really, it was so amazing to be surrounded by just incredible people, but I think it just underscores the point that your net worth is determined by your network. I believe that it's important that we surround ourselves with people that have a bigger vision, that can sometimes help propel us into a bigger version that we at first even thought was possible. And I think that that's possible when you put yourself into bigger rooms and you put yourself with people that are bigger level thinkers. What are you doing to create that for yourself right now? Where can you, whether it's locally, are there some local groups that you can be a part of that can put you in bigger spaces with bigger thinkers? Are there leaders and business leaders in the community that you could be networking with that can help you think bigger? Or is it not just local? Is it what other groups nationally or internationally can you plug into that help elevate that level of thinking? And this, to some degree, goes back to energy is everything, right? Because I think that when you're in a place with people that are thinking bigger about what they want to create, it's a energetic shift, right? It's a shift into, okay, well, if they're doing that, then I think that I could do that too. It's a modeling exercise to see, wow, if they're able to do that, what can I do? Because all of us, you are powerful. You are magnetic. You have incredible potentiality within you. All of us do. It's just that how come some seem to be playing a bigger game? And I think it's really just a matter of their expansive level of thinking. And I think that we can increase that expansiveness when we are surrounded by people that also believe and see a bigger vision and see a bigger picture, right? So it doesn't mean we're going to leave people behind necessarily, although sometimes I think that's necessary. If there's people around you that are negative or bringing you down, I'll share that even just recently, I came back from this amazing retreat surrounded by such incredible, inspiring women. And then I started into some conversations with some people locally, and they were very negative about the market and about business and about how things are just really hard right now. And, it was just so contrary to what I had just come from. And so just reminding myself that, okay, well, maybe I don't want to, put myself in a position with people that are thinking small when, are negative around me. And just a reminder to be surrounded by people that can breathe positivity into life. And it doesn't mean that we're going to be Pollyanna and that we're going to put our head in the sand and not know what's going on in the current world. But I do believe that in all markets, there is opportunity for expansion and growth. So one of the mantras that I love so much is that no matter what is going on in the world, my business continues to grow and expand. And that is truly a mantra. And I do believe that in all markets, there is growth, there is expansion, there is opportunity. It is just up to us to live in that energetic state where we are open to seeing those things around us. So that's number 2. And then number 3 is really, so in this retreat, it was so beautiful to see the vulnerability that these incredible business leaders and businesswomen were able to share, and to really help each other in our vulnerability. And I think that being vulnerable and being willing to see things differently is a real growth. It offers us opportunities for growth. It's when we can be vulnerable in what we're experiencing with others, that we're able to have bigger awareness of what it is that we need to shift or change. So how can you, and I think the biggest thing with vulnerability is choosing the right people to be vulnerable to. So making sure, again, this goes back to really your network and, choosing the right people to be surrounded by. But when you are in a group of leaders and growth-minded people, that vulnerability that you're able to share and open up with can lead to really expansive opportunities and thought patterns and an ability to really shift. And so, again, choose wisely the people that you're able to share that with. But I think that it can be really, again, very powerful to be in a group or with a person to be vulnerable to and to share your fears and then allow them to mirror back maybe a different way of thinking. And so that was also really, what can you be doing? What big shifts might be waiting for you when you can open up and be honest about some of the things and the fears that are holding you back, right? And then the 4th is, learning how to take time away from the business as a way to see a bigger picture. I think retreats can be super powerful. Of course, the biggest thing with a retreat, right, is you have to go away, you have these opportunities, and then being able to come back and put some of the things you learned into action. But you don't necessarily need this big retreat to have time and space away. It's how do we create space and time in our daily lives, in our business, so that we can have an opportunity to see a bigger picture. I think sometimes we get so lost in the details of life. Being a mom of 3 and a wife and having just been through a big remodel, or actually a new construction, building our new house. I know for myself, it's been a very busy season. And, having and being able to create time and space has been super valuable, because it's easy to get lost in the day-to-day and, this needs to get done in the business. But how do you take a step back? How do you create space for creativity and inspiration? And I think that, while I was away on this retreat, another thing that I was able to do, which was just so amazing, is see some dear, dear friends who I've known for so long, 20 plus years, and one friend, gosh, almost 30 plus years. And we've always been in each other's lives in a way where we're able to, and both of these other friends are business people and business leaders. And I love just sharing and getting their ideas on, what they see. And I was able to take some time away from the retreat, meet with a friend of mine who is just an incredible strategic business thinker, and really get some interesting perspective on what it was that I wanted to do next. And taking that space and time away from daily life. And again, it doesn't have to be this big retreat. It could even just be, sometimes I love going on a local retreat by myself to the spa, where I just have time to think about what it is that I'm trying to create. But I think that that time away can be so valuable, and giving yourself time to just be in your thoughts, be in your own soul codes, because all of us, again, have unique soul codes and have a unique destination in this life. I may have shared my view on life in this podcast before, but I'll give you my high level view. And this kind of goes back to that inspiration and creativity and making space for that path ultimately. But my view of overall life, right, is that we as a soul, before we come down in this lifetime, we kind of plan out what we'd like to do in the highest expression of ourself. And I call it Earth University, right? So, and whenever you're planning out that time and thinking of different experiences, think back. I know I went to college, and when I was looking at different courses that I wanted to take, I thought, oh, this would be super interesting. This course looks really fabulous, and it looks really challenging, and I'd love to see what that's like. And then you get in the course. Then you get in the course itself in university, and you think, oh my gosh, why did I take this course? It is really freaking hard, right? I think that's kind of the same thing with life sometimes, is that when we're planning out these really cool experiences that we want to go through, we put challenges in our path, and we sometimes then when we're living it, we're like, what the heck was I thinking? Why did I want to experience this, right? But they can lead to big breakthroughs. And I guess the tangent that kind of started from, so I apologize and thank you for going along that with me, but is that, when we're taking time away from life and business and creating really just space for ourselves, I think that we can take a step back, look at what the big picture is. Where are we in this time and space right now? Where do we want to go? And how can we be really the highest expression of ourselves on this planet? Because I think that our real mission in this lifetime, in what you're creating, is that how can you be the highest expression of yourself? How can you create and manifest in a way that serves your highest good, the highest expression of who you are as a soul? And how can you do that in a way that also creates maximum impact and for the greater good of humanity and the people that you serve? And so when you can operate from that place, that's really powerful. And I think that taking a step back and making and creating time for yourself and space for yourself to see what it is you're creating, see some of the places where, okay, maybe I want to tweak this, maybe I want to go here, maybe I'm a little off course here. It creates an opportunity to course correct where needed, right? And so without that perspective, I think that, we can easily just go through the day-to-day. And then not only that, but I think that when we can create these opportunities for ourselves and this space in our day, and it could really just be even space daily, a daily 10-minute walk, a daily 10-minute meditation. Where can you create space where you can really tap into that higher part of yourself that knows all, that is tapped in, turned on? How do we create space to tap into that? And not just in an annual retreat, but every single day. Because when we can do that, we can stay in continual co-creation for what it is that we're here to do. So, 4 things, 4 takeaways. The summary of them: number 1, energy is everything. How are we showing up energetically to every moment that we're creating in our lives? Number 2, your net worth is determined by your network. So who are we surrounding ourselves by? And are they people that are pushing us into greater versions of ourselves? How do we get into those rooms? Number 3, empathy, compassion, vulnerability. Those can be real keys to growth. And so when we choose the right people to have and release those fears to, we can really step into a more expansive self. And number 4, how do you create time away from daily life, away from the business? How are you creating space on a daily basis, on a monthly basis, on an annual basis to allow yourself time to tap into your own creativity, your own intuition, and that highest part of you that is uniquely powerful, that is here to do amazing work and do it in a way that serves you beautifully and serves the community for the highest good as well. Hope that's helpful. Wishing you a beautiful week ahead, and would love your feedback, would love to hear what resonated with you, and what maybe didn't. I'd love to hear it all. So, and if there's any topic or anything that you'd like more insight on, or more want kind of an expanded version of, just message me, DM me. I'd love to hear it. You can email me at Kara, Kara, at kcdrealestate.com. You can also find me on Instagram. My handle is Kara Chafin Donofrio, Kara Chaffin Donofrio. I know it's a mouthful. And thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being part of this community. I wish you a beautiful week ahead. Until next time. Loved being here with you today and would love to connect with you more over on Instagram. My handle is linked to the show notes, or you can just type in at Kara Chafin Donofrio. And I have something special for you as a free gift, my Dynamic Life Journal. This special book has the power to really help you live a soul-inspired life. Go to freegiftfromkara.com. Easy to remember, freegiftfromkara.com. Until next time, beautiful people, sending all my love.